Good morning and welcome. I'm Sandy. Happy to see you. Welcome to our Sunday Sunburst Meditation. So we're going to be talking about understanding, which is the key to compassion and active compassion. So I have a quote from St. Francis that most of us have heard. May I seek not so much to be understood as to understand. I think that's really a big key for all of us. Most of us want everybody to understand us. Anyways, I have some nice quotes by Yogananda here. This is all about understanding. Understanding is the most precious possession of each soul. It's your inner vision, the intuitive faculty by which you can clearly perceive the truth about yourself and others, and in all situations that arise in your path, and correctly adjust your attitudes and actions. That is a big definition. He also says, understanding is the vision of your inner being, the sight of your soul, the telescope of your heart. Understanding is a balance of calm intelligence and purity of heart. I feel like one of the most important things that we can do in any relationship with your child, your spouse, your friends, and especially with Divine Spirit, is for us to learn to understand them. I know Spirit is constantly trying to communicate with us in so many ways. He sends great saints of all religions. He sends miracles, and He blesses us with answered prayer. The many, many signs, many, many blessings, and much wisdom has been shining through for a long time. And it's up to us to bring in that light, to listen to what the great saints have to say, and to listen to the small, still voice inside of us, the way that God communicates to each of us in our hearts. I know that in a marriage, understanding is a continual learning process to understand each other, to believe in each other, and to really grasp the message that that other person has to share with us. I know for my own marriage, Steve did many, many things and said many things to express his love to me. But there was still a tiny little piece inside that said, does he really love me? And the way that he got that message across is he took all the money he had saved up for several years and he bought me a brand new car. That was his way of saying, I love you, because it was very important to him and to me. I really appreciated the car, but the meaning behind it was infinitely bigger and better than the gift. It meant that he really loved me. And I look for those ways to express my love to others, not always in a gift, sometimes in words, sometimes in actions, sometimes just in a look, or a touch, or a flower. I know that a lot of women feel like red roses say, I love you. And sometimes that's hard for guys to understand how meaningful that symbol is. But it's like a diamond. It's a classic expression of love and devotion And it's been taught to all of us. That means love. But sometimes people speak a different language, though they still speak English or whatever language you do. Sometimes we need to understand their language in order to understand them. I know a lot of times young children literally do have a different language. And there's a little kind of a gray area somewhere around 2 or 3 or 4 where they're learning to speak. A lot of their words are not quite English yet. And a friend of mine explained how to understand that. It was fascinating. She said, figure out what letters they have trouble pronouncing, and you can interpret their words by understanding what they use instead. And it works. Also hand movements and different sounds they make, different things they do, will express themselves really clearly. Kids are great for that. But in understanding people, we need to grasp what it is they love, what it is they're fascinated by. And if it's very, very important to them, it's also important to us because they are important. I have a son who's a surfer, and I always thought surfing was awesome, but I never knew that much about it. As my son was growing up, I learned about it. What was his fascination became my fascination. So I speak his language. I know who the pro surfers are that he admires. I've met some of his great heroes, and he knows that I care about him. I speak his language. There are so many ways that we all express ourselves, and many of them are not verbal, but we need to learn to understand what people are saying through their actions. Sometimes, as they say, actions speak louder than words. And if we watch what someone does, we can understand a lot about what's going on inside of them. We can also understand the spirit in them. And the spirit as he works through all people. And many, many times I'll pray for something and a person fulfills my prayer, not necessarily out of their own volition. I felt like Spirit inspired them to do that as a blessing for me. I feel like he's watching over me and caring for me like a loving parent, like a father or mother. Spirit also, he's in everything and everyone. So sometimes I feel his presence in children, in their joy and their innocence, their gleefulness, their laughter. And I understand Spirit's nature more by experiencing that. There are many faces to God, many people, many races, many manifestations of Spirit all over the face of the earth, including beautiful manifestations in nature, in tall trees, in the clouds, in the sun, in the multifaceted aspects of the weather, the big storms, the lightning, the sun reflected on the ocean, the beauty of a bird flying high up in the sky. Those are like God's paintings. through nature and through people. He expresses himself, a very colorful being, a broad spectrum being, with an infinite heart of love for all of us. I've been many, many times into the ocean, and as soon as I dive in, I open my eyes underwater. My problems are washed away, and I feel God's presence. I see his creations in the ocean as divine. I feel that incredible joy and the magic of the water. I feel cleansed, rejuvenated, and inspired. And it seems to me that it's a touch of God, that he puts his hands in the water and in all the elements, in the fertile soil, in the sunshine, and in the vital airs that we breathe that sometimes can smell so good. I speak as a water woman, but I know farmers and people more of the earth can understand God through the gardens, through the orchards, through the vineyards, and just through touching the soil. He is alive in the earth and the plants. He is totally alive in all beings. So in order to feel that presence and that love, we'll have a silent meditation. If you have a meditation technique, please do that. And if you don't, just sit straight and comfortable and focus on your breathing. One of the biggest and the most eternal searches that we have is to understand the nature of God. And every once in a while we have a very clear insight from within, and sometimes He sends messages to us through other people. When my dad passed away, he was a little bit scared of death. A few weeks afterwards, I dreamed about him. It was very realistic. He was kind of up in like a celestial place. And he looked at me with this fabulous smile. And he said, "Sandy, God is benevolent. I think He likes me." He was never one to say, "I love you." So that's how he communicated God's love for him. But I remember that message, and when I feel the thorns and the roses, I go back to that home truth. God is benevolent. Sometimes, through the law of karma, of cause and effect, we end up going through things that are really rough. But again, with that home truth of benevolence, we know that that law was not created to hurt us. That law was created to help all beings, that we create with the power of God, with the sacred power of life that's in us. It's in our voices. It's in our minds. It's in our words that we speak and that we write. And all of those things bring karmic reactions. If we use those powers and those blessings to help mankind, to help other people, and to better ourselves, to achieve awesome goals, to heal the earth, all the wonderful positive things that we can do with our life force, they'll be multiplied and they'll come back to us as blessings. If we use those energies selfishly or in ways that could hurt others, that comes back to us too. But underneath that law and underneath all God's laws, there is love. There's benevolence. There's hope. And there's the faith to move on. I know sometimes we do reckless things. I do. And one time I fell off my bike and hurt myself pretty bad. And I was lying on the couch, and my little friend, she was about 9 or 10, she lives next door, she came over and she sang me a song. She made it up. And the words of the song were, "Even though you fell, there's still hope." I felt like that song was God's message to me. I could be healed. All things can be made right. There's always a solution for every problem. Norm Paulson, our founder, said that. And also, Sai Baba said that. And I say that. I know that's true. What's lost can be found. What's hurt can be healed. What's wrong can be changed. What's off can be brought back into balance. God knows where everything is, and He knows the solution. And His power to create miracles is even greater than our foibles. Rejuvenation is constant. Second chances come with every breath. There's always a way out of trouble. There's always some way to heal. So with that, I will say goodbye and thank you so very much for listening, for being part of this great, big, beautiful family that we all love.
Something always gets through about the children coming home. Something always gets through about the children coming home. In the channel up and down, dolphins sleek and dolphins swift. In the channel up and down, dolphins sleek and dolphins swift. Blue wing says to white fin, swimming's good beside this ship. Blue wing says to white fin, swimming's good beside this ship. I hear children singing, I haven't heard that in a while. I hear children singing, I haven't heard that in a while. Not since long canoes and northern children of the isles. Not since long canoes and northern children of the isles. Whitefin turns to blue wing, winks and rolls into a wave. Blue wing follows swiftly, they disappear into the sea. And on the deck I stand in, wondering if they saw me wave. All my nets are thrown, and I await the fisherman's day. All my nets are thrown, and I await the fisherman's day. I will mend the line